Hello, RWorld, and welcome back to another episode of RWorldTalk. We have with us this morning Commissioner Lamar Fisher. How are you, sir?
I'm great to be here. Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Well, thanks for being here with us. For those of you that may not know, because we do span quite a few miles of coastline here in South Florida, Commissioner Fisher was a former mayor of Broward County last year, 2023 mayor of Broward County. And before that, you were actually the mayor of Pompano Beach as well.
For the past 11 years, I was mayor of Pompano Beach.
Mayor of Pompano Beach for 11 years. That I may be a little bit biased, but I think that Pompano Beach is one of the greatest places on earth, and that's because I live there and I love it.
Thank you.
I regularly go and hang out at the Fisher Family Pier, which has got to be like one of the gems of South Florida. What has been done down in Pompano Beach and our beach area, the revitalization is absolutely incredible. And congratulations for all the work that you did and having that pier named after your family.
It's a great honor that the city actually did that for my family, so I'm truly humbled about it.
That's incredible. Well, it's fantastic what you guys have done for the city of Pompano Beach and for Broward County, so thank you for your service. So, Commissioner Fisher, you've had a great relationship with our association for many years. Why do you value the relationship with the Realtors, and why do you think that Realtors are vital to Broward County?
Well, I have to be a little bit prejudiced because I've been in the real estate industry all my professional life.
Have you?
I have, and I've been a member of the board for umpteen years.
Many years, yeah.
So this is obviously very partial and very close to my heart, is making sure that the industry continues to grow, but also as a legislative body, making sure that we can bring legislative forward to help our realtors and help our real estate industry survive and grow and continue to make the impact, because I truly believe that we are the lifeline of our communities.
Absolutely.
We are absolutely selling homes, we're renting apartments, whether it be affordable, whether it be market rate, and of course in the commercial side as well, and the industrial side, and hospitality. So it just goes on and on and on, and really how it affects everybody's life at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, and the realtor community and the legislative community really go hand in hand. There's a lot of things that we're involved with from our advocacy efforts as realtors to basically be the voice of the homeowners that we're serving, or those home buyers that we're serving, to make sure that we've got aligned to the relationships that we've made with all of our elected officials. I'm sure that you've sat in candidate screening quite a few times.
Many, many times, and always nervous whether we're going to come out with the endorsement or not. But so far, knock on wood, I've been 100% so far, been able to, each race I have run, whether it be a commissioner at the city level and mayor at the city level, or even a county commissioner, I've been blessed to have the endorsement, which means a lot to me.
It's certainly been our pleasure to make sure that we have people like you being our voice and making sure that we're well represented. Let's talk about Palm Beach County and Broward County. Obviously, lots of similarities, but what sets Broward apart from our northern neighbors?
You know, I think because we're so centrally located between the two counties, and the beauty of it is we're able to learn from each other. Yeah. We're able to communicate with the electeds as well as the administrations, go back and forth too on the three counties. So, you know, there's really not a line. When you drive up and down 95, you really don't know whether you're in Broward or Palm Beach, or, you know, obviously that line is invisible to a large extent. So we want to make sure that the South Florida region itself is working collectively together. And I think what the beauty is, we're so in the between, so we get the benefit from both counties, right, at the end of the day, and learn from the good and the bad.
Yeah, a lot of times, if you see something that's happening down in Miami, everything seems to sort of trickle up north. Not only the migration of people that end up leaving Miami, coming to Broward looking for cheaper real estate, and sometimes people leaving out of Broward going to West Palm Beach or St. Lucie looking for cheaper housing, more affordable housing, but certainly a lot of legislative issues. You see that they sort of the legislation sort of mirrors as you're moving up the counties, because things just make sense. Do you guys collaborate on things like that? Do county mayors talk to the other county mayors and say, hey, this is what we're experiencing?
And we even include Monroe County as well.
Okay.
Because we really are, again, that one region. So and the most important thing is our administrations talk probably weekly. Our county administration and other county administrations from both sides. So we work to see how we can better each other. And as recently, on Friday, I was in Miami touring the new facilities going to open up that Miami has been able to fund $51 million for mental health. So it allows a judge, Steve Leifman, who's been involved with this for 20 years, finally come to fruition where we can actually house and rehabilitate those mentally ill folks that need it so badly and get them back into society. And now we're looking to duplicate that in Broward County.
Amazing.
So we're learning from each other and vice versa. They'll come to our county and look to what we're doing as a progressive matter, so we can work together to make things happen. And we can share a lot of legislative items too. So whatever's working in Palm Beach County, it can work in Broward 9 times out of 10. So we can just, there's no use in reinventing the wheel. Let's just get together, use and be able to have ordinances together to be able to work collectively. Again, why we reinvent the wheel? Let's make it happen together.
Exactly. No, I love hearing that that you're taking a tri-county approach, working with your neighbors in order to address mental health. It's so important and something that, unless it's affecting your family, people don't think about a lot. There's so much stigma around it. Yeah. It's incredible to hear that we're actually doing something proactive in order to help change that.
It really is amazing. I mean, it's down to that, and I know this is probably real estate, but I learned that there is now a drug that you can have 2 shots per year that can keep the mentally challenged folks online with their medications because they'll forget to take their pill every day.
Oh, wow.
But now Medicare is providing a shot 2 times a year that keeps them steady, and it releases it. Little things like that you have no idea what's about, but can make a difference in one's life to change it dramatically to get back as a productive person in society.
That's incredible. Thank you for working on that. Looking into the future, let's talk about some of the county's initiatives. What are the top 3 initiatives over the next 5 years that the county is working on, whether it be mobility efforts, community development, tourism? What are you putting your energy and resources into these days?
Well, affordable housing, and we'll talk about that as a separate piece because that's really a conversation among itself. But transportation is very, very important right now. When we talk about that, we talk about our commuter rail. And that goes back to the tri-county issue where Miami-Dade is going to be bringing community rail to Aventura. Broward County will pick it up and then bring it into Palm Beach County for them to take it forward. Okay. Different for Brightline. This is commuter rail for those who are working and playing and living in Broward County. And we'll have multiple stations throughout the county.
Okay.
And if you'll see, for instance, in Oakland Park, you'll see in Pompano Beach, where they're already planning for their stations in Deerfield Beach to have affordable housing and market rate as well,
right?
And also retail. So if folks can work and they can get on the commuter rail, they can work in Miami if they have to. They can have and they're back and forth. So that's going to be the next piece of the transportation along from moving east to west too. And that's the key. Is people said north and south, but we have to get folks from Weston to the beaches as well.
Of course.
And so we're working. I met with a group last Thursday that has autonomous buses that can enable that Jacksonville is now. We talk about learning from each other.
Yep.
Jacksonville is doing downtown where the buses can have a monorail system throughout and then actually can come down to the street level and go to other venues.
Wonderful.
And so we're hoping to connect our airport that way along with our seaport so we can have folks that can fly in our international airport and get on the automated buses or the transportation and come right to the cruise ships and back and forth. So making transportation is going to be a key. With our surtax that we passed in 2018, we already raised about $2 billion, and of that, 300 projects are already completed in Broward County.
Awesome.
So we're not sitting on our laurels. We're making the transportation happen at the end of the day. And we talk about affordable housing, and then resiliency is kind of the third one. When I was mayor last year, we had the 1 in 1,000 storms.
I could not believe
as you know that our airport, our north runway was 5 feet underwater.
That's
we actually
crazy.
had catfish and snakes swimming on our
There was catfish?
There were catfish swimming.
I didn't hear that part.
But we were able to learn from that. And also, most of our neighborhoods around the immediate area were completely flooded. Folks lost their houses.
Yeah, that was
So
devastating.
we worked with FEMA. We worked with the governor and the federal government to bring folks together to help those. But we have to learn from those, and so we're providing our resiliency plan up until 2070, so we can plan for this and make this, because we don't want our homes to be underwater either at the end of the day.
Right.
So it's very, very important that we tackle resiliency.
Yeah, one thing, just a little bit off topic. It's you see a lot of squeaky wheels out there with some of the things that the city or the county, whatever city that you may be in or county, when the county takes on a plan and it's something that is so forward thinking, the general resident isn't thinking 20 years down the road what it's going to take in order to, to operate the city the way that the city operates and really plan for future growth, future development, things that are they're inevitable. I mean, we have so many people that are constantly moving down to Florida, and they all want to be in South Florida. It's the greatest place on earth. But looking at to Pompano Beach, for example, the new downtown core and all the changes that are happening, and my gosh, do people have their arms up about that one. But when I drive down Atlantic Boulevard and I'm taking a look at all the changes that are being made, I can see the buildings that are coming. I can see all the changes that are, certainly going to be coming down the pike. But you've got to have some vision towards the future in order to take in all of these great things that soon will be coming our way, like the commuter rail.
You do, and you have to also have the community buy-in as well.
Absolutely.
And that is so key.
That's the hard part.
When we did the beach redevelopment in Pompano Beach, we had to have the buy-in, and we created the vision.
Yep.
And then we had the buy-in from the community, and then we were able to move forward with it.
Yep. Yeah, it's you guys have a tough job keeping people happy. My goodness.
Just be honest with them and tell them and take their feedback, and a lot of times you'll hear great ideas coming from the public.
Yeah.
And so we implement them, which is great.
Yeah, you know what? It's good that you guys are listening. So the association partners with a lot of Broward-based organizations. One of them is the Stranahan House. Mm-hmm. How important is it to you preserving the rich culture of and history of places like downtown Fort Lauderdale?
Well, you're talking to a fourth generation native of Broward County.
Okay.
So, my great-grandfather signed the Articles of Incorporation in 1908 for the city of Pompano Beach.
Amazing.
And my great-grandfather also was a Broward County commissioner, believe it or not, and my grandfather was mayor in 1943 for Pompano. So my history and love goes deep in this community. So it's so important to preserve the Stranahan House, and you look at other venues, and obviously coming from Pompano, where we have moved the McNabb House. And it's going to be McNabb Park and Botanical Gardens. That was built in 1926, and then we moved several years ago the McNabb House, and then of course the Sample McDougal House on Dixie Highway. That was built in 1916. So creating these venues for not only to preserve history, but allow these museum type properties be open for the public to be able to have receptions and weddings and things of this nature. But we're running out of land.
Yep.
And so we want to make darn sure that we preserve our history the best we can, because once that's gone, we will not have it anymore. And that's a sad day. So we want to make sure that we can save it together.
That is a sad day. I spent many years living in Toronto, Canada. And one of the things that I always thought was really great about that city, their historical preservation was absolutely incredible. So you would see the growth that was happening in a city like Toronto, that was just exponential growth. Everything was growing so fast around you, but they would preserve all the original facades of the old buildings. Right. So there might be a gorgeous modern steel and glass tower just shooting out of the top of a really old house from the 1800s, but that original facade was still there, and that would just be turned into the grand lobby, and the floors were restored and things like that. But it is incredible preserving some of that culture. And down here in Broward County, a lot of it is already gone, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, our forefathers didn't have the foresight to save.
Yeah. No, but what's going to be happening with the McNabb House? When I see the renderings, it looks like that's going to be
it's going to be a full restaurant, botanical gardens. It's going to be similar, kind of modeled after in Delray, the Sunday House.
Okay,
that kind of theme to where you could have multiple events there, and the operator is dynamic, who's going to be there.
Okay,
I think they selected the folks that actually are going to in process of rehab in the Maikai and bringing it back into its original condition.
Very cool.
So we're talking about preserving history there even as well.
Yep. Okay, so the state of Florida has been and still is one of the most sought-after states in the nation. You know it as well as I do. We're so lucky to live here. Mm-hmm. We're experiencing a new wave of migration. So what are some ways that you are combating the affordability crisis? that the entire state is experiencing. But I think primarily Broward County is absolutely at a critical point right now as far as affordability is concerned.
It really is, and affordable housing and I call it housing affordability. But for the sake of conversation, affordable housing is so important for our service workers, for our firefighters, our teachers, our police officers. It's not projects. People think affordable housing is a project. It's not. And what we're able to do now that we have to go vertical because there's no more land, we're providing incentives. The county's providing incentives to the municipalities to create more density.
Okay.
To have taken, for instance, on our major corridors, University, Nob Hill, Broward Boulevard, where there are those dark properties. Maybe a Best Buy was in there at one time, or I don't use Best Buy as an example, but maybe that property's gone dark, that they can actually redevelop that with retail and come above that with high density for affordable housing. And we've been able to initiatize that. Also, we have an affordable trust fund that the county's been putting millions of dollars away. We have spent in about $100 million, created about 2,700 units. We are now in the process next Thursday at our county commission meeting. We're going to approve an FIU study that we had a 10-year plan and going to use our expired TIF funds from our CRAs, 90% of those funds over a 30-year period of time, to be able to provide gap financing for those developers. But what's key, Chris, is to be able to have a true mixed use, not just have it all affordable, but have market rate and affordable within the same project.
Right.
Because it creates that harmonious community that we're looking for.
Absolutely.
And so we're doing what we can at the legislative level to have the tools available to our municipalities and to developers. But you have to do so. You've got to have certain criteria. And there's so many projects that have been $3 or $4 or $5 million short of making it affordable. That's where that gap financing comes in and that trust fund comes in, and we can make it happen. And it's from all over the county. And Palm Beach has learned from that. Obviously, they passed a bond actually recently to create affordable housing. We chose this as a trust fund to make it a little bit different so we can see $20, $30 million at a time every year from our budget to make that happen.
Yeah, Florida Realtors has always had that as a major initiative of ours every single year when we go up for Great American Realtor Days and we're lobbying the Hill in Tallahassee.
Yes.
It's affordable housing is always something that is on our talking points to make sure that we can get as much help as we possibly can, but especially down here in Broward County. Like I said, it's we're really at a tipping point. As you know, I serve on the Broward Housing Council.
Yes.
They hear a lot from Ralph Stone, who is just
he is our gem.
Brilliant guy.
He is our gem, no doubt about it.
Is there? Have you heard of any specific projects, or has anything come across your desk that made you just say, "Wow, we haven't thought about that before"? And that would be a great way to address affordability, like container homes or any sort of project.
We have researched those.
Okay.
We have researched container homes. We've also have put our money where our mouth is. When I say that, when the initiatives I brought forward, there was a 5.8 acre site that was on the market in Pompano Beach on Northwest 31st Avenue.
Okay.
It was an old former Travelodge motel. Horrible shape. And we were able to negotiate with the ownership, and we actually purchased that. Broward County has purchased that property. And soon after we purchased it, the Live Local came out.
Okay.
So we're able now to probably put additional 100 units of affordability on this 5.8 acre site.
Awesome.
Which will be another dynamic change. So we're purchasing the property. We'll partner with the developer and build that project for affordable. And again, that's a transit-oriented corridor with the turnpike there, and also the transit-oriented districts that we're working with. If we can increase density at those particular areas for the developers, then we can have it. But I can tell you, Chris, it's going to be a massive task. But with this new study, we were able, over the 30-year period, we were able to put 30,000+ units of affordable in the marketplace.
Beautiful.
And so, we're doing all we can, but we need partnerships.
Absolutely.
We need partnerships with the state, the federal government, and the local. Everything, politics is local.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. But we still need those funding mechanisms to make them become a reality.
Well, if the realtor community can help you in any way at any time, please let us know, and we are more than happy to jump in and get our hands dirty and call whoever we need to call in order to
I always love to go to Tallahassee when you're there for the week and you're lobbying. I mean, you make such a dynamic impact to our legislative body. It's amazing. It really is.
That's good to hear.
And then you have the local government groups that you continue as the board does. They have their government subcommittees. They really make a difference. And I always say, how do you get involved? The realtors do get involved. They deal community service. Yep. They're out there, whether it be planting trees or cleaning up streets, but get to know your local officials from the city to the county to the state. Because if you need something, pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, just call us. That's what we're there for, to serve our constituents and to serve our businesses and to serve our realtors. So please don't hesitate to pick the phone up and call.
Yeah, I think the general consensus for people, they don't understand that our elected officials are members of our community as well. You have your own real estate company.
Yep.
And happen to also serve as a commissioner for Broward County, but you're just a normal guy and you've got a cell phone like everybody else. That's and you're actually here to help, whatever it is that we're experiencing, help us find solutions. So this is the stuff that you signed up for. It's okay to call it.
It is okay. Yeah, that's what we're here for. And I have wonderful staff at the county that can just pick up the phone and make things happen.
Yep.
And that is I always say, what's the worst thing about being elected official? It's that my constituents doesn't necessarily have that open door. In other words, people call me and say, well, I've had my permit here for 2 months. Well, why didn't you call me?
Right.
And I can make a phone call and I can get that pushed through. You know what I'm saying? So that's the disappointing part of being an elected official, is that everybody's not, I would say treated the same, but doesn't have the access that we do. That's why I'm saying use us.
Right.
To have that access to get what you need done.
Help us help you.
That's right.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you? This probably should have been my first question. Tell us a little bit about you. What does the Broward County Commissioner do with his spare time, if you have any? Do you have any hobbies?
Well, if I have any, it's very much. So my hobbies are interesting. I'll probably shock you on this one, but my main hobby is surfing.
No way.
I have been a surfer since I'm 14 years old.
I didn't.
And so anytime I can get in the water and just shut everything off, that is my peaceful time and my hobby to do. I've gotten into golf recently.
Okay.
The last 4 years, so that's frustrating but rewarding at times.
It is frustrating.
But I have to say that my number one hobby has been surfing and play basketball too.
Okay. Have surfing? Do you enjoy surfing in South Florida, or is this something that you're constantly traveling to go and find bigger waves?
Constantly traveling to find bigger waves. Yeah, Cocoa is my favorite spot. Cocoa Beach is my favorite because their beaches are awesome. The break is incredible for the morning time, and come noon it kind of blows itself out. But Cocoa is my favorite spot.
We had the NER conference out in Anaheim, and I took a day trip out to Huntington Beach, and there happened to be the World Parasurfing competition that was happening out there. And these guys were, those waves were big that they were riding. I'm like, the pier is so long, so we're taking a walk out there and the water just seems so shallow for the longest time, but the waves that were being produced, I don't know what it is about the topography there, but it was just incredible.
It's like the perfect wave. You know? My son's high school trip, that's where we wanted to go to Huntington Beach, so we spent a whole week Huntington Beach surfing. It was great.
Very cool. So what's one of the things that our realtor members pride themselves with is being community builders? We already had a talk about that, touched on it briefly, going to habitat builds or rebuilding South Florida or whatever the case may be. We do the waterway cleanup every summer, which I would like to see us do on a regular basis throughout the year. But can you share any advice for realtors as they continue to build strong communities on what they may or may not be doing right?
You know, I kind of grew up in my professional life in a civic organization, Kiwanis.
Okay.
And you have Kiwanis, you have Rotary, you have Serotimus, all those community-based organizations. It's difficult, though, for the younger population to be able to commit to that. So I encourage you, whether it's water cleanup, whatever it is, get out there and do something for our community. I don't care, whatever makes your heart feel full at the end of the day. And that's what I say to folks. Whatever makes you tick and what makes you feel important to maybe help someone else, get involved. And like I said, get involved with your local officials too. Okay. There's so many projects out there that can assist someone in doing community service. Just pick the one you love. and go for it,
Okay.
and give back, because you'll get back tenfold
Absolutely.
at the end of the day.
I firmly believe that. What? Let me ask you one last question. What? Actually, I've got a couple of more questions. But what prompted you to get involved in your civic duties?
I joined Kiwanis in 1982. So when I joined my real estate firm, my father was at the time. He goes, "Son, you need to get involved in the community." Okay. So I joined Kiwanis and just became really involved in doing, service. And really, our focus has been young children.
Okay.
And we do Christmas in July every year, where we have a big thing in our arena where we give out shoes and clothing to the children that need it. But that actually kind of got me little what of an appetite in politics, because believe it or not, even in civic groups and organizations. So I ran for my president of my club, then I became the lieutenant governor of Broward County, and then I actually was elected the state governor for Kiwanis.
Okay.
In 1998-99 for the entire state. Spent the entire year traveling throughout the state, seeing what Kiwanis does. And then in 22, I ran for the city commission in Pompano, and then in 2007 was elected mayor for 11 years. And then when the county seat became available, I've always wanted to serve at the county level.
Okay.
And so 2018 I ran and was successful there. So, but again, it's just something I love.
Makes you feel good.
It does. It really does. And to be able to tell your message, and to be able to, it's great to be on the dais and be the mayor, run the meetings and all that.
Yeah.
But my thrill really gets when that person calls me and says, "Listen, I'm hung up here, I'm hung up there. Can you help me?" The behind the scenes is really where I get my satisfaction from.
Okay, wonderful. Good to hear. So if there's anything that I've left off the table that you want to address, the floor is yours. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to address the membership or anybody who may be watching or listening on any sort of initiative or anything like that, and then we'll get to our last question.
Yeah, first of all, Chris, thank you. And I want to thank the Board of Realtors for their dedication. And we talked about community service. We talked about what you really do. We talk about the lifeline that you really are in our community. So keep doing what you're doing and get, more folks involved, to not only be part of the community, but to get involved in our profession. Because, again, we make the difference. And the ripple effect is really, you change one life, you might have changed 100 or even 1,000. At the end of the day. So make your mark, be successful, be professional, and always be courteous, because you never know what touch point is going to make a big difference in someone's life.
Awesome. Well, you guys just heard it right there. Okay, last question that I have for you. We ask this question of all of our guests. Tell us about a little South Florida hidden gem, something that you love. Could be a restaurant, beach, hotel, anything at all. And I know you're probably
you know what I'm going to say, right?
You're going to get flack for people from not saying their place, but go for it.
My District 4 is along the coastline.
Yep.
But I have to say, it probably sounds braggadocious, but I'm proud of the Pompano Beach redevelopment. It took us 10 years to make that a reality, and to have our pier, and to have our restaurants, our Oceanic and all those beautiful facilities, our hotel now that we have. And that's just so much growing. Then you moved on to Lauderdale by the Sea, which is a little tiny community, but yet very successful. And then you come to Fort Lauderdale. Everyone has their own uniqueness. But my prejudice is my beaches. My pride is my beaches. And so that's who I represent. That's who I want to make sure that we develop in the right way. And there's development right and there's development wrong. So I want to make sure we get it right for many years to come. So my grandchild and my grandchildren can really enjoy our history.
Yep.
But also all the wonderful amenities that we have to offer.
Well, that's an excellent answer. And I think you just proved to everybody why Broward County is in very good hands with you sitting up on the dais. So thank you so much for being with us. And as always, it's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, guys, we will catch you right back here next time on RWorldTalk.